Okay, I call this meeting of the JMRL Board Policy Committee to order. And we have no remote participants today.
Correct.
And we can continue with our discussion of a bundle of governance policies. And what we've discussed, we've gone through each of these and kind of made the general decision to consolidate into one or two. And you have, we've put together a draft. So we went one by one and highlighted the points that we wanted to retain in the consolidated draft. We went through and then have created a draft that contains all those bullet points and passed that out 10 days ago or so. So for preview, but we'll go through that now. And David, what I suggest is we go through the current policies one by one and then just point in the new draft where the which parts are covered. I don't know. Is that going to be, what's the easiest way?
That would be fine.
Okay. I think we need to do three. We have three things though: the current policy, the bullets that we talked about, and then where did those bullets land in the draft?
Okay. So we've got, here's the bullets that the group discussed. Here's the draft right next to it. So we can just pull them up one at a time. Here, the answer is yes. So 1.2 was regional, yes, Board of Trustees, and this was effectively a table of contents for this kind of governance section. We didn't pull any information from here per se.
So this ends up getting deprecated.
Yes, this would be removed.
And then the overall, is this the first, what's the policy number on this?
This is 1.2.
I'm just wondering, you know, at the entire manual, there's probably a table of contents for, I guess it's by policy number. So that'll be reorganized to just reflect the new consolidated.
Yeah, I don't know, outside of this, I'm not sure that there is that has made it over to that has made it over to the
We don't have a binder anymore.
Right, exactly. So the very first one is 1, which
Right.
is just, here's why we have policies.
No, but this, what you're looking at serves as the
the
table.
page itself, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Although it's not a policy, I don't think it needs to be. Yeah, it's fine.
So this is just Sarah will change this as we get it.
Yep. And deprecate.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 1.2.
Okay, so that seems pretty easy.
And then we'll jump in with questions or comments. Okay, board goals and planning. One sentence right now. And yeah, let's just show where this landed.
Okay.
Essentially, I think we kept all of that.
Yeah.
In some form.
I think it's the first bullet.
Yeah.
The big change here was that we changed the wording to say the library board will set goals for the library director and the system. And the other one was just for the library system annually. So we just codified current practices, basically. And we'll develop a comprehensive 5-year plan that's updated annually to meet the requirements stated. So I think that's word for word what was in 1.22. Okay.
Yes.
Now we start to get into it a bit. That's annoying.
Okay, so this current 1.26, if you just kind of scroll, it's only one page.
Yeah.
So this is I would say we use the procedure for small boards, and that's sort of the governing principle here. I would say that this current policy calls out some highlights from that. And we discuss which of those highlights. I think we decided to keep some highlights just for in the new draft, just for key references, but we didn't keep all of them. So yeah, basically these are the ones we kept and we consolidated into essentially one.
So we kept where members don't need to obtain the floor, motions don't need to be seconded, there's no limit to the number of times a member can speak, and informal discussion is permitted. That's what this committee decided were the most important factors there.
Yeah, the only thing I've noticed here as we're looking at just wordsmithing is it's which means the things that are listed are like include. These are things that are included in the, but not all of the. We wouldn't want to say this is all of the aspects of the rules, small boards. I don't know all the aspects within. Something which includes
Which part means, or which, yeah, somehow that it's a part of it, but not the full.
I would say, which includes but is not limited to.
Yeah.
Or even just
Either
which
limited to.
means.
I think which includes that maybe.
Which includes members don't voting.
Includes or includes that.
That, yes.
Okay.
Okay. And let's look at the bullets on this one. Just for
On the original?
the intermediate bullets.
Oh, for, right. Okay.
Okay, so this is what came out of the discussion. So that's basically it. Okay. Any other thing to look at on this from anyone?
I want to put this chair doesn't need to rise. Okay. Public hearings. So at the last policy committee meeting, the policy committee's consensus was that there's important information here that needs to be included somewhere. And that somewhere is in the public comments policy, which is not included in that draft that we were just looking at. So we really don't have anything here. I sent you just a doc that has the two front and back there. So that's something that we can either work on today. And on your handouts, that's pages 12 and 13.
Yeah. We
could just do it like that. If it's not something that we want to get into the guts of, we could just combine the two and call that the new policy 1.261.
Right.
Or we could start wordsmithing.
Right. So what I suggest for everyone is we essentially put a pin in that, knowing that public hearing is not going to be part of this consolidated governance document. We're going to either today or in the near future consolidate it into public comment.
I will say that it is on the board's agenda. So if we wanted to say, here, we're just going to combine these two, just, this is just the first reading today for the board. It's not the vote.
But yeah, I would like to get the consolidated draft sort of finalized and then see how much time we have.
Okay, great. So then after public hearings, there's board meeting minutes. Which is 3 pages.
Right. So the current was very prescriptive.
It's covered in something else, isn't it?
Well, no, we took a bunch of stuff from here that we wanted to put in that governance policy. So instead of 3 pages, though, here's what the group had said. I want to say we follow Robert's rules, which is the whole first page of this current policy. And got to contain certifications and recorded votes. FOIA says we need to keep minutes for any meeting of 3 or more board members. The minutes will generally be limited in length to 2 pages. board secretary, we'll send that out. I think we changed the term secretary to reporter or something like that. We'll see in a second. And the first draft of the governance that I worked on, I changed this to 10 days just because Mondays are frequent holidays. So, if we have a board meeting on a Monday, there might not be minutes out by the next Monday. But then in looking at state FOIA law, it does say try to get it in 7 days. So, sorry, Sarah. So in the draft, we kept these bullets. Follow the FOIA law, formatted according to Robert's rules, including any certifications. It's the goal to make draft minutes available within 7 working days, generally limited to 2 pages. Library director assigns a staff member to serve as the board's minutes recorder. Reading and approval of board minutes follow guidance from Robert's Rules of Order. There's a whole side quest here that this group opened a discussion about committee note taking, and I was tasked to take that back to JMRL's attorney. And his consensus is that I'm going to read you the law, which I put in the minutes in the side here. However, minutes shall not be required to be taken at deliberations of standing or other committees of the General Assembly, and then it lists a bunch of other committees until it gets to 4 study commissions or study committees or any other committees or subcommittees appointed by the governing body or school boards of counties, cities, and towns, except for the membership of any such commission, committee, or subcommittee includes a majority of the governing body of the county, city, or town or school board. So what the lawyer says basically is that means unless the majority of the board is in a committee, you don't need to keep the same level of minutes and make them publicly available. It's okay for us to continue to do what we've been doing, which is have Sierra take notes and have them available per request. We're not posting them proactively, but they are available either from a Freedom of Information Act request or just any board member has access.
Okay, great. Yeah, so that justifies that we don't mention committees or.
Correct, because they're not minutes, they're notes.
Yeah. And actually, if I read just my first reading of that law said we don't even need to do what we're doing right now with committee notes.
We do not need to do
that. But I do think it's a good practice.
The one thing that it does mean is that the Budget Finance Committee will need to keep official minutes and vote on their own minutes. The approval of minutes is the key thing as well. So this body doesn't approve any minutes, and we just have some rough notes.
And you said that because Budget and Finance has
Budget
5.
is 5.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That sounds like a useful thing to.
Yeah, we learned
understand.
something. Yep.
Okay. In that case, I think this looks like a good consolidation of minutes to me. Any other?
That looks good to me.
Great.
Like board minutes recorder for a title.
Well, it's not capitalized, so it's not a title.
It's not a title. It's just a descriptor.
Yeah, it's just a job responsibility, unfortunately. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so that's minutes. And then the last one is policy manual changes. Which was 7 bullet points. And the committee had said, wanted to convey that policies are reviewed regularly on a 10-year basis or as requested by either the board or the director. Anybody basically may suggest a review of current policy or the addition of new policy for the library to consider. These were just taken from the current one. And the policy committee can recommend the creation of new policies or deletion of current policies to the full board. The full board can task the policy committee with review and drafting of policies. So those are the 3 key elements that this committee thought we should carry over. And how did that get carried over? The board regularly reviews each JMRL policy, and we added at least every 10 years because there are some that happen on a quicker schedule, and on the recommendation of the policy committee. Any trustee, staff, government, or private individual or group may suggest a review of current policy or the addition of new policy for the library to consider. Suggestions should be made in writing to the library director. That remains the same. And the policy committee can recommend the creation, revision, or deletion of policies to the full board. The full board can task the policy committee with review and or drafting of policies.
And so it's clear for me as an insider that we recommend things to the board and the board enacts the policy.
And that the public can make a suggestion.
Right, but what I was getting to is it clear here that the policy committee itself doesn't pass the policies or enact policies?
Yes, it is.
I think so. The policy committee can recommend the creation, revision, or deletion of policies to the full board.
Yeah.
And the full board can task. I wouldn't, if you wanted to clarify that, that's fine. I think this has worked okay in the current iteration.
Okay, anything else on this? Did we look at the current version of this? Yeah.
So what do we get rid of? Policy committee will review final proposals, determine the format and policy manual location for approved proposals.
Yeah.
Seemed unnecessary. So maybe this is the closest to what you were just talking about, Mike. A written draft proposal will be submitted to the board by the policy committee. And then the board will take action.
Okay, I think it's good. Any other points here?
The only other outside of that, we wanted to add language saying that the board adopts a budget meeting.
Yes, we did add certain new language that we should just kind of skim through.
That's all up at the top because that was the end of the policy. So at the top.
That was the last one on the
Yes.
of the list. Okay. Yeah.
We don't have anything about, on bullet 6 on the old one. Notify the group or individual that initially requested the review of the outcome. Talk about coming back to that person.
You'd add it. I certainly, the meeting itself is now public and recorded and published in a way, you have the ability to see what happened in the meeting a lot tighter loop than in the past.
Yeah, I take your point though, Martha.
Like, how do they know?
This is not something that happens that often.
Right.
Most of what this group does is review things on the schedule or as needed, and it might be because of the impetus might be something that a member of the public brought to the board's attention. But usually the language is go look at this policy, but I hear you that if somebody asks for, they specifically ask the board, like, hey, can we have a policy on, doorknobs, then we should follow up to say what happened at the end of it.
But does that need to be in policy? Or is that just general modus operandi?
Yeah. I'm okay either way.
Let's look at the new draft to see if there's a quick way to.
I think the quick way would be just pull that bullet point and put it at the bottom here.
It almost seems to me it would be go in the second bullet because that's where that's where the group or individual has requested something. So I suggested should be made to the library director who will reply with eventual outcome or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Of the board's decisions, because there might not be action, the answer might be no. Like that?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Back to the top.
Okay, so everything else we added is the top, which is sort of general context, for sure, for stakeholders who are reading this. We added, I don't know if the handbook was mentioned somewhere previously or
In
not.
the original. I think any of that would have been, yeah, that might be new.
Okay, but I think it's useful context for sure. And then we had the following sentences where the Board of Trustees governs. We've just added, and this was not an existing policy, although it's in the handbook and so forth. It's just notifying everyone what the respective roles of the board and the director are, and that delineation of responsibility. And I guess the conflict of interest was suggested by our broader review. We did a broader review about, hey, what else did we miss? So that got added.
Yeah, I think it's in good shape.
Mhm.
I think this is
And
well.
adding that line also supports the last part of that policy intended to consolidate some operating procedures for the library board and communicate those clearly to trustees like this.
Okay, it sounds like we're ready with these tweaks. We're ready to recommend this to the full board, and I guess this is a new policy, and it comes together with deprecating
Yeah.
4 out of the 5 or however many, all but one.
Number.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we remove those 5 and add this one.
Right.
Well,
Well,
we just need to show
Which
the
is
board
what, 2 pages
rather than 5 different
Many.
policies over 10 pages. Yeah. We're making progress. We just have to remember to show them this version that has those.
okay, so let's look at public comments and public hearing. So public comments, we don't need to read it all, but the idea is we do both as a matter of practice, and there are some laws requiring, I think, aspects of this allow public comment at regular board meetings. And there's some rules, ground rules, sometimes it's a hot topic comes up and there's a lot of interest and we want to be able to conduct that in an orderly fashion. And we want, from my perspective, it's important that everyone knows in advance what the ground rules are so they can show up and it's going to be 5 minutes. They can prepare their 5-minute speech. It's important to know what they are. So that's, to me, an important function of this.
I think it also is important to align it with the different jurisdictions that we're working with.
Yeah, I mean, they have 5 very different sets
But
of rules on how they
But
govern this.
within that, we can find the commonalities.
Right.
I think that's what this does.
right, so I'm just sort of introducing context. Public comments, we did go through this relatively recently, 2023, and we did, Martha, go kind of do what you're describing, which is, and actually, I think some of those jurisdictions, their policies were in flux kind of right around that time also. So yes, this is sort of a center of mass.
Good.
And I only introduce this as, so I don't think we're talking about changing any of the public comment portions, but I wanted to talk about that as context for the idea of a public hearing, which currently is a separate policy. And if you want to pull that current policy, here we go. Basically, if there's some other hot topic, the board doesn't have to just accommodate that during public comment at a regular meeting. It can say, well, we're going to have a special hearing just to accommodate, public discussion of this topic. So that's what the public hearing is. And I think in effect, it really is just a board meeting with one agenda item is what it turns into.
That's how I feel about it.
But I think the function of the public hearing policy would just be to or some bullets from it would be just to make it clear to everyone that that's an option the board has. Is it doesn't have to replace a monthly meeting. It can be a separate off-cycle thing that the board can choose to add. So really and once you do that, I think perhaps the conduct of if it's a special meeting, I think perhaps the public comment are the exact same.
Yeah, it's very similar. The only thing here is that this puts a 2-hour cap on it. The current
public hearing
policy does.
Right, but the relatively new public.
1 hour.
Yeah.
No, I think it says 1 hour, but then at the end, you continue. So, yeah. It's 1 hour.
Up to 1 hour will be allowed for the comment period. And
Before-
generally, we leave 30 minutes of
Right.
agenda
Right,
time.
we'll
but-
resume after all.
but it will
agenda.
resume.
We haven't put any
Right.
time on
No,
that.
I think the intention here was that the board would hear everybody who came to speak.
Right, but the intent, the 1 hour was just so the board could do its regular business
Mhm.
before this unbounded amount of time. Yeah, so I think it could probably be one sentence in public comments, just saying, basically that first sentence
Yeah.
right here,
Yeah.
and essentially communicate somehow that public hearing is essentially a regular meeting with one agenda item. You know, I think we phrase it differently. And the rules are the same at that.
I think this is a good one. This comes up a lot in a lot of the local jurisdictions. To make clear, and I'm not sure if that's clear in the public comments.
It is, number 8.
Oh, yeah. So do we want to take a crack at this, Mike? We got some time.
Oh, it even says the board may also hold, so all we have to do is just edit this sentence essentially, and just, but we're not gonna reference an external policy. This might just become a new paragraph, but let's try it.
Let's start with a new paragraph.
Civic topics,
Period.
yeah.
Maybe these first two, the board will set the time, date, and location of the hearing and make announcement to the public. Top of the hearing will be stated. Sign up will begin 30 minutes prior. The rest of it will follow.
Let's start with that, but I'm looking about the pre-sign up. The current public comments. Do you need to sign up at all since we're accommodating everyone?
I think just to keep in order for the chair to call, like
Yeah.
first is Chris and then it's Mike.
Yeah.
This is a point maybe that does
Yeah, we
come
don't
up.
have a sign up on this.
This point I do see come up in local governments. Remarks will be addressed to the board as a whole, must be confined to the topic of the hearing.
Yeah.
Because if the board's gonna hold a separate hearing to talk about doorknobs and then somebody wants to come and talk about parking lots, direct them to come back to the regular business meeting. This is just to talk about doorknobs. Terrible example.
That's
I
okay.
like it.
Exactly.
Matches.
Yeah. I'm wondering if
Matches.
some would start to, there could be some pushback, I can imagine on that.
Yeah, that happens too, and they say, well, they're related, this is all part of the.
Or I'm here to speak.
Well,
Yeah, so we could try it, but, okay, so what you're, so now what I'm thinking is copy over, a little more of these details, but maybe this ends up being the last at the bottom.
And have a separate starting line
Yeah,
that says, it's
board may also hold public hearings. on
public
this.
hearing, yeah, and has a little title to it.
Okay.
So that would be kind of keeping,
It's kind of keeping all of it at the end, but
Yeah.
let's copy it all to the end and then edit down things that we can remove, maybe.
here it is, it's all at the end.
So we
Just take this.
take that out.
Why are they different sizes? First thing is first. So that would mean basically taking all of this
Right.
and striking it through. Check I can never remember where it is. All this would be read. This would be new. Probably wouldn't want it. We would just call this like public hearings.
Mhm.
These first two current sentences need to be combined some way.
I mean, we could just delete that top one. We could just leave this policy.
We can put the portion, remarks must be, will be addressed to the board, or must be confined to the topic of the hearing, right after the end of the sentence, so if the boards will set time, date, put it right there.
And then just something basically saying like all other, follow the
Yeah.
above.
Oh, yeah, all the rules for public comments. The meeting will follow the rules. for Public comment. For library board meetings.
The public hearing will be, or just public hearings will be conducted using the procedures described above for public comment at regular library board meetings.
That's good. And then is there any of this that we need? I mean, the written transcripts is not handled anywhere. I don't think it.
I think there is something up here that says, commenters may request at least 24 hours in advance that a written statement submitted to the library director be read aloud during public comment.
I think it's fine. Yeah, it's unclear what otherwise the written transcript is for.
Sometimes we've had people come to meetings and want to distribute something. I think that would be okay too. They would still be 5 minutes of speaking, so
Right.
they wanted to add.
Right, so does that need to be, right now, I think we're silent on that. I think
Do we need to
Do
say
we-
anything about it?
yeah, I think not.
I don't think so.
So strike all what's on this, everything on the screen now.
We want to change the overall title.
I don't think so.
Well, it's public comments and hearing.
The hearing is just another type of public comments.
I think this is good.
Yeah, do we even need the public hearings header?
I think so. Doesn't hurt.
If you're doing that, I would,
You name it.
no, I think the name is okay, but I wouldn't use that font anymore. I would make it more like a subhead within the, like that's a policy name, in our sort of. Yeah, just like bold it.
Very red.
That conveys more that it's just a subtopic within this. I would keep it left.
Yeah, I
left.
agree.
Yeah, can we just put that on the screen and read it? So we can read it.
Smart.
Yeah.
I want you to put make an announcement.
And announcement.
I mean, do you want it to be underlined forever?
Or
Just
make
like that.
announcements.
Or just announce.
What is it suggesting?
Well, or announcements, because you'll have it in several different formats.
feel like it's a proclamation from we're making announcements. The town crier is going out making announcement.
You have to put a little town crier symbol there.
Public hearings, the last sentence. Okay, I'm happy with this. Open to more wordsmithing.
This is all going to be very complicated to explain to the full board in an hour. Ready?
Been preparing for years for this moment.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah. Okay.
We could, we could renumber some of these because now we're going to have 1.1, 1.2 governance. And we're going to go right to 1.2425.
We have to wait until we've got approval.
Well, yeah. So that, I think, David, that's part of the mythical.
That's part of it, yeah.
The mythical.
Agree. Yeah.
Which might happen this year.
So the things that we need to share with the board are in the original draft of 1.2. Here are the changes that we described today, which are minor tweaks. And then we're recommending consolidating public comments and public hearings into public comments policy. And here's what we distilled it to.
Just as a formatting thing,
Yeah.
on the first page, footer. Now that goes to the footer of the second page.
I think it goes to both, right?
Do they? Okay. It's on every page usually.
So. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Okay. Yeah, maybe. Okay. All right. Well, the date will change.
Yeah.
Okay. So agenda wise, this is what we hope to get through, and sometimes we talk about a looking forward. So looking forward, the next thing will look at as a committee is the notary. And this is something we discussed a little bit off and on the past year or two, full board.
Yeah.
David, I believe, has for the next month's board meeting, which would be July, a continuing ed about what's going on with notary current
Setup.
practices. And then we will review what needs to be updated or not in this current policy. The 1-2 sentence. Right now, it says we do offer them. We must, essentially.
Yeah.
So I guess that'll be part of it. That's just the background for everyone here to know that could feed into the discussion next month and following months. Is that something we want to mandate or from a service?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the board's take on this is going to be. I mean, it's certainly service that's very popular, takes a tremendous amount of staff time and energy, but is heavily used. So there's a demand for it. The last big discussion we had about it, I think internally, at least on the staff level, was whether or not to require a library card for all individuals or groups getting a notary, which currently don't do. We see a fair amount of business from people that aren't eligible for library cards because they're coming in from out of the area, so they'd have to pay for a library card. So it's not charging for service per se, but it's effectively
Charging for library service
Yeah.
that's provided free to our
residents, right?
So I would say it might be worth, tell me what you think. What I'm thinking is often the committee there'd be open questions like that from staff. The committee would talk about them and make a recommendation. But since the whole board is kind of going to have the CE, maybe you should or could list out some open questions to it.
Yeah.
Should we require this at all? You can say, here's what the policy committee is going to be thinking through. Do we
Do we want to offer this?
do we want to be required to offer this service? And then who's eligible and that sort of thing, and then just see what comments happen from the full board, and if not, we'll.
Yeah. I think Krista's gonna be involved in this.
Planning a date where me and you and Brittany can meet to talk about.
And maybe Ophelia too, if she's willing.
Yeah, Ophelia, she does many.
Ophelia does about one notary a day. That's just calendar days, 365 for summer year, so we're not open all those days. But
And I would, and I'm sure, again, this might be a policy. Not sure whether this would be policy versus procedure. It probably is procedure. But at some point, because I know you have to have staff that are trained for this if we're going to provide a service. So who takes the training and who is required to do that or not. And then there's the question of fees, or those fees.
There are no fees.
No notary fees? I thought
No.
We offer it as a free service.
Oh, right.
So that's one of the
Oh,
questions.
if there
That
were.
is one of the questions. Should we
No.
offer it for free to library card holders only?
Yeah.
Should we just charge for it? There's a whole slew of options there.
And what we've seen is the demand has gone up as other outside organizations no longer will offer this as a free service. So we've seen a curtailing of that over, that's been going on for a long time, 10
The
plus.
volume is going up, 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 up.
Because there are less options.
There are less free options. The courts and the banks send them to us. We get people who are in town closing up their parents' estate or whatever, so they aren't local necessarily, but they need a notary desperately. Sometimes they will offer to pay, and I'll tell them they can make a donation downstairs if they'd like, but we do not accept pay. We do get people, we started offering it for free because it brought people into the library who might not otherwise come, and then once they see all the things that we offer, they get a library card.
I mean, my unpopular opinion is that it's not too large of a thing to ask for somebody to get a card to access this library service. They require cards for checking out materials,
You're out of area, yeah.
forever.
But if someone just got a card only for that and they don't intend to ever come back, how did that benefit?
Well, they'd be out of area, so it would be, $40 for them to get that card.
Well, it's $30 to get the card, but if they come in and they have documents that need notarized, if they were to go to the UPS store, they would have to pay $10 per document. Right now, we offer it for free, period.
Mike, to me, it's just a matter of capturing that statistic, like that's one more user who used library services. And, even if you came in, checked out one book and never came back, we're still gonna count you as you were here and you got a card.
Yeah,
We keep notary stats, but they're not reflected in our card holdership. And we talk about like trying to get card holdership up in our area. And I think we have people locally that would get notaries that might not have a library card.
Yeah.
So this is the discussion.
And that kind of handles the a little bit of the out of area users of notary service as well. Okay, that all sounds great. So
It'd also benefit those people because they can, once they have the library card, they'll be able to do the virtual things that we have.
Yeah.
So they'd be
And
able
I'm
to
not
do
in
that.
favor of charging for any library services, but for me, we are by the regional agreement, charging people who live out of our service area for library services. So why is this any different?
Great.
Anyway, a lot to talk about.
So,
for sure.
but I'll ask you and Krista to just think about which part of that discussion should happen at the CE. I mean, it all has to happen at the board level eventually,
Yeah.
but which part of it is going to be sort of proved out by the committee? In this case, since we're doing the CE, I think this topic is going to come up. My thinking is this should at least kind of get introduced,
Yeah.
but maybe framed as the committee will be
What the
discussing.
questions are after
Yeah.
the CE, and then we take those to the policy.
The committee. Yeah, and I think it would be good too, this is not something I talked to you or Brittany about, but to have a lay of the land for some of our.
Just survey other library
Yeah.
partners.
That's available and that the state has offers in peer libraries.
Peer libraries. And this comes up frequently on the state library web listing thing where like, what do you charge for notary services? Do you charge for notary services? That kind of thing. So I think if we have that information to present also, that would be helpful.
That'd be great.
So this is a sneak peek.
All right, so don't miss July and August.
I started an email with the same stuff.
Banger months at the committee. Okay, anything else for today?
I don't believe so.
All right, we will adjourn the policy committee meeting.
Thank you all.